asking me questions like, what's my fondest memory on the football field, or what was the best trait of my ex-girlfriend, does that literally build intimacy for you? Like, is that...
It's getting to know you. These are things I don't know about you, and I wanted to...
Well, this week is intimacy week, and I'm confused. I really am confused. I think outside of Rachel, everybody else was confused about their interpretation of the word intimacy, because it seems everybody else based their intimacy on wearing something sexy and sort of prancing themselves around the room. Nobody else sort of wanted any depth. I think the only other person was Beck. That writing of whatever words was actually very insightful and meaningful, and I really loved that. The Mean Girls, I really cannot stand Brooke and Gia, and sadly their husbands are not holding them accountable. They seem to think that whatever their wives are doing is correct, which is really appalling. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight Australia, Season 13, Episode 10. So you have the couples. Obviously, the drama or the main topic amongst the couples is the fact that there was this debacle at the commitment ceremony, whereby Brooke and Gia were sort of attacking the other wives. Sadly for Brooke and Gia, their husbands don't seem to see anything wrong in what they did. They really don't see anything wrong in what they did, because they're not calling them to account. On his part, you actually think that, I think Chris at this point is afraid of his wife. He came in with such a big gob that I expected him to be the husband that stood up to his wife. And so the idea that he is now just sitting there and he's being paneled by this woman and doesn't have the guts to say anything is something I didn't expect. You have Gia and her husband. They're having a conversation about this whole event. I know with Beck, she was rubbed the wrong way, because when Gia walked into the hen do, she wanted to be the standout bride. But still, it wasn't enough beef for them to sort of be calling each other out and sort of saying all the malicious things that they did. I don't like her. On her part, Stella and Philip, they feel some type of way, because Stella is saying, I'm here for my marriage, I'm not here for anything else. So the idea that the other wives are attacking me, I don't get it. And I think she's going to milk this innocent maiden act for as long as she can, Stella on her part, as long as it gets her empathy and mileage. Yes, she was wronged, but I think the character or the persona that she's putting across, I think is a bit too much. So hopefully they're able to resolve that. Alicia and David wasn't happy. He really wasn't happy. And it's sad, because as a black man, he cannot say or do anything, because it will be interpreted the wrong way. They'll end up calling him the angry black man. But I also don't get why people don't like Alicia. Yes, on her wedding day, when she did that whole act of saying, I want a proposal, I side-eyed her. But she has seemed like someone who cares and is committed to her partner. So for everybody else to call her marriage a showman's, I don't get it. And for the wives to come at her and say, we don't like your voice, we don't like this, it's like, please leave her alone. Leave her alone. She's got a registration to protect the two of you. We know you don't care about your careers pre the show, so keep it stepping. You have Mel and Luke. They meet up because apparently they've decided to have a conversation. They decided to have a redo. Mel on a party saying, you know, I've decided to give this a go, and I've decided to actually put my all into it. And it's like, girl, are you putting your all into it, or do you think you'll get a negative edit? So you're trying to spin the block so that you come back looking like the victim. I'm not buying it, and I don't trust it. Grayson and his wife. Well, with Jules, there is a problem. It seems Jules apparently, whether she slept on the couch because he wanted to sleep on the bed, nobody knows. But he was in the bedroom, he was packing whatever he was packing. She walked in and told him she wanted to sleep. He didn't move out fast enough, and now she's in her feelings. Sadly for Jules, she talks in circles, and so she can never make sense, or you can never make sense of what she's saying. She kept, trying to explain what she feels happened. Grayson on his part is frustrated. He is frustrated. This is what I think. I think Jules came with a mission to the show, sort of like the Ashley and his wife on Married at First Sight UK situation, whereby she's come with a mission statement. I'm a bisexual woman. I didn't choose what sex I wanted to marry. I was open to the idea of whoever I got, and so I am the trendsetter. I am the gold setter. I am the gold standard for bisexuality. That's the impression that I get, because otherwise it doesn't make sense why she and her husband were having a back and forth. Grayson has seemed like he's a very even-keeled husband, and sadly, I'm sad that the experts felt the need to match him with this woman, because I don't think this woman actually likes him. I think she's tolerating him, but she doesn't like him. You have Alexandra sort of send envelopes to the couples because it's intimacy week. So they're going to hold a workshop where all the wives will meet up with her and they'll come up with activities. The husbands are excited. They really are excited because for people like, Gia and her husband, Scott, they really couldn't be bothered because they feel like they're doing amazingly well, so they don't need any input. Whereas there are people like Rachel and Stephen who are struggling and they feel they need the input. So hopefully this is able to help, but it didn't seem like it did. We then have this conversation between Stephen and Rebecca. Sadly for her, she's someone else who's in this situation, which is a no-win situation. Rebecca really likes this man and this man doesn't like her. And he is going to put obstacles in the way. I don't know why he just didn't say leave. Because he told the other husbands she's not his type. She's too loud. She's too opinionated. He doesn't like her and he's very conservative. So the idea that they're continuing in this charade, I don't get it. I really don't understand why they're going to continue to sort of pretend to be in this marriage that is working. Sadly, I wish Rebecca could suck it up and just pack her bags and leave. At times you're better single than in a couple where you're unhappy. You have all the wives meet up with Alexandra. And so they have a conversation about sexuality to discuss what they want or what the goal is going to be. Gia says, they are very intimate. They were sort of discussing their intimacy, and she was saying she's been very intimate with her husband, and she's never been this deep with somebody so fast, so she is happy about that. Stella said, they connected on day one, and things have just progressed amazingly well. Alicia said they are very sexual people and have sex every day. The other wives weren't feeling it. And it's like, seriously, this is not a competition. If that's what she's doing, amazing for her. You mind your own business. I don't get it. Beck said she's obsessed with her husband and she's getting the flowers. And it's like, good for you. If you're getting that amazingly well, hopefully on his part, Danny's getting the same. Rebecca cried and, she said her needs are not being met. She feels like, she's trying to respect her partner's pace, but it doesn't look like it's sort of helping at all. And the other wives were saying to her, don't lose yourself. Always make sure you prioritize yourself. Don't lose yourself. You had Alexandra say to her, it feels like you're afraid of losing this man. And it's like, I get it, but at the same time, she can't force a connection that's not there. She always needs to prioritize herself. So Julia, on her part, said, they had their first argument, which derailed everything. She said, he's a very sexy boy. And she kept talking in circles, and people were looking at her. And it's like, Grayson, if he were here, he would say, so I'm not losing my mind. This is who she is. Because she talks in circles and doesn't make any sense. So it's really sad that they're in this situation. Rachel said, she's only had 2 good night kisses, and they were barely kisses, they were actually pecks, because the other wives asked her, so how deep were the kisses? And she said they were just pecks. It wasn't anything to write home about, which is really sad because I thought they were a good couple. So it's making me question whether Stephen is really attracted to her or he's just going through the motions just because he feels that's what he has to do. You have Alexandra sort of assign the women tasks to go and perform something that they would think would be their fantasy for their husband. And it's like, wow. And because Rebecca was crying in the intimacy ceremony, sort of workshop, you had Gia take her to go and buy some lingerie. And it's like, well, good for her. She needs someone to support her. Rachel went home, she bought a notepad, and I love this because she bought a notepad and then she asked her husband to leave the room. She wrote down what she wanted and then she sort of put on a blindfold and had him sort of read the cards. She said it's from a movie, Love Actually. And then when it got to kiss me, he then refused and said, well, I don't want to kiss you because I don't know if you're going to feel anything. And it's like, seriously, why not give it a try? If she feels something, amazing. If she doesn't feel something, it's still amazing. The two of you can keep it stepping. You don't need to force something that's not there. I didn't like that. I felt very awkward about that and very uncomfortable. So he then stormed out and she was just crying because she was helpless. She didn't know what to do. David, on his part, came home to Alicia dressed sexually. The moment he walked through the door, I think he wanted production to leave. She served him in this lingerie. It was really cute. But then I think, this is a guy from a Nigerian family. How do they feel seeing his wife like that on TV? So I am side-eyeing that. Gia and Scott. Gia was dressed like a bunny, and so she dressed up like a bunny, and then she had him sort of come and she said she wanted him to perform tasks for her. He seemed excited to see her. This is all they do. This is all they do. I hope there's actually substance to their relationship, because every time we see Gia and Scott, they're always talking about sex or they're always making out. You then had the strangest intimacy week that I've ever seen activity, because you had Jules and, her husband, Grayson. And so she had cards sort of asking him, have you ever been bullied? Have you ever this? And it's like, where does intimacy come with that? Where does intimacy come with that? How do you compute that to amount to intimacy when you're sort of asking questions that have nothing to do with intimacy? Yes, you want to get to know your partner, but still, I don't get it. I wish she had played it like a game and said, okay, if you read this card, it's either you answer it or you take off a clothing item. Then maybe something like that. But this wasn't it. And he looked frustrated. He really looked frustrated. You had Chris and Brooke do this paint drawing thing. Brooke, sadly, I'm off her. I really am off her because I think she's a mean girl. I hate the way she talks to the other wives. I hate the way she looks at the other wives and makes herself feel better than. I loved Becca's activity because she had her husband come out in his boxes, and because he's got tattoos all over, I was thinking, what are we going to do? Because they had paints out. And then she gave him the task of she started off by putting an eye mask on him and then just writing down words on his body. He then did the same. I felt it was very intimate, because you're stimulated by the sensation of a brush moving across you and then the words that you're reading out. That was good. That was really good. I really loved that. You then had Steve and Rebecca. She brought, obviously, the lingerie she had bought, and he refused to do that. He said that does not amount to intimacy for him. And so it was very awkward because he keeps breaking and breaking and breaking this woman. And it's like, seriously, how much more do you think she can take before she says, I'm done, I'm ready to keep it stepping? I hope she leaves him. I hope she goes home. At times, it's not worth being on TV for your spirit to be broken, really. Poor Grayson was upset. He was upset. He didn't like the fact that the activity they'd done had no sort of substance to what they were supposed to be doing. Jules was standing her ground. She was talking in circles as per usual. So I really hope they both leave at commitment ceremony, because Jules is not there for the right reason. She's there to make a statement, but she's not there for a marriage. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Click on the link in my video to watch my review from episode 9. Bye everyone.